Hello guys, and welcome back to Strategic Command World War II War in Europe. We are expecting here, I'm about to end my turn, for some fun stuff to happen. Definitely some fun stuff. Morale kind of low around the Maginot. Enemies breaking through. France's morale is just absolutely plummeting from the game's events. Not a whole lot that I can really be doing about it. We are building fortifications, I believe, with every engineer. Yes, we are. All right, good. And we have encountered the single German submarine that's been raiding us. That one. Wow, we've gotten our fleet into some funny positions. Ready to potentially confront an Italian navy. When we enter this range, it mobilizes them, but they're already preparing for war, which means they are going to enter the war next turn no matter what we do. So, let's go ahead and end our turn. I've already done everything I want. The loss of Belgium reduces British national morale. That is sad. Allied invasion preparations boost Italian. Yeah, that's us ending where we did. Doesn't change anything. They were going to enter the war no matter what. It was pretty much guaranteed. Italy declares war on the Allies. Yep. Reagan becomes a French CINC and calls on France to evoke the spirit of 1789 and 1914. I don't know what the hell that means. UK develops advanced tanks. Okay. Long-range aircraft almost done after a breakthrough. Anti-air got a breakthrough. Inditech got a breakthrough. That's a really early breakthrough, but that's useful, I guess. USSR is collecting 185 MPPs right now. It's still honestly less than I would expect. And the UK is earning more overall than I would expect compared to World at War, which is interesting. And America's, of course, sending slightly more ever since they mobilized a little bit more. France collecting 132, not very different than the UK, honestly, before all the colonies get factored in. But not enough with the tech level. We have some Italian movements. They've taken, what was it, Monaco? I don't know. We have some German reinforcement on the front. Of course, some bombarding instantly. We have interceptors flying. Are these from the carrier? They are. Those flew in from that carrier. 1 damage dealt to the enemy bombers at least. We got like 2 damage though. 2 more damage to the enemy bombers, none to our units. Italian bombers flying. There's no fighters down here to protect. Still dealing damage, however. Now, proper British interceptors flying. It's good that the Brits are flying first. 3 damage on our side. Oh man, nothing to their fighters. Don't know how much to those bombers, but something. And to our unit, no direct damage. Still, they're bombing this one unit. They know that that unit is my weakest link, just like I know. Interceptors flying, not really hurting their fighters. We took 2 damage to our fighters. 3 damage to that core is brutal. It really will probably die this turn, honestly. Another bombing. They're putting, okay, alright. Well, we dealt 2 damage to their aircraft this time, although the fighters responsible for it not very happy. The BEF is coming under attack. Wow, taking massive damage. That's not great. They're even cycling in new units, and they actually just killed the BEF. Holy cow. I've never seen them deal that much damage. Well, Jesus Christ, the BEF army's dead. Alright. Otherwise, more movements, attacks, French armies to the north coming under some strong attack. Yep. Cycling in units, and there goes a French army. Moving to attack another French army. Trading blows here, as we can see. It's fairly even aside from those losses we've taken. They're really trying to focus. I've never seen the AI play like this in World at War. They killed that core, which is on a mine, so they've just secured that MPP production there. Pushing the line forward through the Ardennes. Nice. Yeah, Monaco was taken. Nice is under attack. Look at this. The AI didn't really play like this. Are those paratroopers? They are. Paratroopers landing in the front. or behind the front, I should say, suffering landing casualties, coming after our HQ and engineers, essentially. More paratroopers on the front. Interesting. Definitely interesting. They've gotten behind us, but now they're also isolated. That French army on the front line almost dead because the enemy just keeps swapping out. Look at this. They have secured essentially that town at this point. That is, wow. Once again, in World at War, the AI does not play like this. They're relying on blitz attacks. So many blitz attacks, swapping their units in and out, making key progress where they need to. So 2 French armies, 1 corps, and the BEF army destroyed. Holy cow. Monaco settlement captured, yeah. With Italy now in the war, our position in Egypt could be severely threatened. Australia and New Zealand are preparing to rush reinforcements to Cairo, but they will arrive under strength units requiring some equipment training before they're ready to be brought up to full strength. Alternatively, we could let them complete their formation and training in their home countries, in which case they will only deploy for service in Egypt in late 1941. Late 1941. That is not good. So, would you like to rush them now under strength or have them form as scheduled? Strength 3, New Zealand and Australian Corps. These will be British units, Commonwealth forces. Then I would have to pay to get them up to strength. Or let them arrive in September of 1941. So over a year from now, the war has already begun. We need these units here now, ideally. Like, it is totally worth paying to rush them. That time gap is too much for how few units we have down there. So yes, I will rush them there now. New Zealand contributes forces to the defense of Egypt. And Australia reinforcements arrive in Egypt. Italy has joined the war and her forces in East Africa are invading British Somaliland. This is off screen. If we do not take steps to reinforce our position in East Africa, then the Italians may proceed to invade Sudan and possibly even Egypt. If they were to act in conjunction with an advance on Egypt from Libya, then our situation in the Middle East would become very grave indeed. Not only our imperial standing, but our imports, too, would be affected. It's therefore strongly recommended we spend 60 MPPs to strengthen our forces in East Africa. Would you like to approve this expenditure? Secure a position in East Africa. If you say yes, then on the 27th, November 1941, the defeat of the Italian forces in East Africa will be announced, just guaranteed. If you say no, Italy will invade Sudan, and this will cause a small reduction in British national morale. In addition, should Axis forces capture Cairo, a half-strength Italian corps would march north from Sudan to reinforce the Axis forces in Egypt. I'll go ahead and say yes to this. It's kind of equivalent to moving the South Africans north in a way in terms of expenditure via operation. We have a British or Russian anti-air. This is interesting. Where to deploy this is certainly a question. Having anti-air around our most fortified front is probably the most advisable thing, potentially. And then trying to get it the hell out of Dodge once it runs smack into German forces. That's my assumption. A lot of this anti-air could really do with being moved up. Even right here would be a pretty decent spot for anti-air if we had other units up here. We just don't at the moment. It would be nice if we did. We could move up from Kiev to kind of accomplish that, but having someone on Kiev is also kind of important. Operations with the others can go anywhere, so I'm just going to say we move it up kind of like the main defensive area, protecting the road to Moscow. Road into Ukraine won't manage a lot with the industry getting moved to the Urals. The Caucasus oil isn't even doing anything at the moment. I guess when they're in, that's probably why the income is so low. It's probably only when war starts will that Caucasus oil come into play. Interesting. Well, for now, I'll just deploy this bad boy right there. And we have an interesting situation. The BEF was pretty much one-shot, something I definitely did not see coming. I 100% did not see an enemy just slightly more advanced dealing 5 damage. That was incredible. All right, so let's start by reinforcing all the British air that suffered some big casualties, spending well over 100, closer to debatable, closer to 150 MPPs right now. It's quite a bit. There's now a little bit of a gap in our front lines, that much is certain. But I'm tempted to plug up with the tanks. We have a paratrooper behind our lines. I would love to use tactical bombers, but this projection is not necessarily accounting for the damage that would be suffered from fighter cover. That would not end up very good for the bombers. So let's just start with some Frenchies. We'll try to use the Frenchies. 3 damage dealt, none received. We were expecting to receive some, so not receiving any is great. Definitely great. There you go. That worked out, like, perfectly. Now, this guy has 2 entrenchment. He's in a fucking field, though. The city comes with its own defensive bonuses that kind of make up for losing the entrenchment, and it is, I think, on a river. So I'm going to go ahead and move up, kind of take that position back again, so that they're forced to kind of fight through there. We're not using any bad locations, so to say. I guess I should have pointed this north as well. I don't know why I didn't point this fortification north when I built it, but because they could just attack from there, and it's a paratrooper, you know. It's better than a corps. This corps is injured. Going on the attack is something we should not be doing a lot of. It's something we should definitely not be doing a whole lot of. That much is certain. Now, they're going to keep breaking through. This much is certain. If not because, once again, I of course knew they would have overwhelming power, they also play differently. They play, in this game, I feel, more like a player in terms of how they try to kill units, and less like an AI, like they do in World at War. I'm not sure why that is, but we're going to reinforce the reserve corps here. This is still building up fortifications. The Frenchies have 204 MPPs. Not sure really what to spend it on. Obviously, rebuilding some dead things would be pretty useful. It would pretty much all be spent on getting 1 army back. I am half tempted, I probably won't do this, to start researching infantry weapons. But the thing is, we're just gonna die so quickly, it's not going to matter. The same could potentially be said about a turn delay of 4, right? Because with 4 turns, they could be on the doorsteps to Paris already. Looking at the expenditure of the Germans for as long as this war goes on in France, I think they're going to be focusing on just fighting. So just getting in their way even 1 turn longer, we saw how kind of useful that was in Paris, might be pretty useful. I can go ahead and reinforce this boy, this corps as well. Get him as up to snuff as possible. His entrenchment is not very happy as the Italians make their push towards Marseille, focusing everything to the south, nothing really coming to the north. It's interesting. Might need to move this guy down to Avignon if they push all of these units over to Toulon. I can't say French names, don't expect me to. So we'll probably just go the army route. There's really nothing in terms of upgrades to get, but we get a 100 MPP discount because we are reforming an army. Every army we make will help. The engineers, I feel like those don't need to be reinforced. I mean, they could try to drop again. I don't think they'd accomplish an insane amount. But an army would probably be the best. So let's go ahead and just repurchase the 3rd army. They'll arrive in September of this year. And that is something we shall do. I'm kind of on the fence about it, but I'm going to use the DCR heavy tanks to plug up this hole. It is clear, right? But there's a river. So this is the only hex they can easily attack here from, and if they step here, then they'll just kind of flank this fortification and, you know, get around another mine and stuff. And trying to prevent breakthroughs with bodies, I think, is going to be the best way to handle this. The main reason that army died, I guess, is because just them attacking from this direction. These tanks are heavily upgraded as well, so let's try to plug in where they're trying to make a breakthrough. Let's try to do that. Hell, even on the attack, we could do good damage here against this enemy army, so that bodes well for our defense, especially when we have one entrenchment at the very least. Of course, you know they're going to bomb the shit out of this, but attacking just speeds up the inevitable. We don't want to do that. 32 MPs remaining. Is that enough to get this engineer up? I mean, it's enough to get it up +3. I guess at that point it would become too expensive. Probably. We're not spending MPPs an insane amount, so sure, let's do that. And he's going to keep building anyway, so that's good. That's all of France's MPPs. I can't free up any more units. There is this one over here, this core that I wanted to move, but I have learned that this, well, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. Keeping this guy here was relevant only for keeping Italy out of the war. Italy's in the war, so it doesn't matter. But I wanted to move him out, but there was no way to buy French units, and I don't know, could they have spawned here? If I bought a garrison? I have no idea. It's a bit late to consider, really. These guys spawned in with 10 supplies, so we need to upgrade them, like, right now. We need to reinforce them right now. It's good. It's good. I was wondering how we were going to handle this front. I had really no idea. Now I have an idea. So that's cool. They probably have someone on Tobruk, right? You'd think so. You'd believe so. What's supply look like? It's actually pretty good right here. Let's go ahead and attack with our army. They're not fully entrenched yet. Oh, that went bad for us. I can move up. A desert's a desert. We would just lose entrenchment, essentially. I could move up. I could also just try to stay defensive until we get these other units on the front. I don't know how prepared they are. I haven't seen their setup down here, and we don't have any planes down here like we do in World at War. If I move up and then the enemies attack, they're obviously going to attack this core, whether it's this enemy core or they move others up. At the very least, we're fighting an even war against the Italians. We're not outdone like we are against the Germans, for example. So, did tech finish? I think something finished as the UK. It feels like it did, because we have some additional research funding that we can do. Oh yeah, it was advanced tanks. That's 200 more we can use. I guess advanced fighters would be the obvious things. Let's just go ahead and start researching that. That kind of kills the ability to rebuy the BEF this turn, but it's not the worst thing. I was going to buy an army this turn, because I wanted to send it down to Africa or Greece or something like that, but I'll take 2 cores. I had to reinforce them, but they're in position. I don't need to pay their transport costs. They're already in the right place, which is good. It saves some time. It'll function. It helps round out what O'Connor here is controlling, so that's good, I guess. I'll move up. Is it smart? I don't know, but I'm going to do it anyway, so, Do we have de-entrenchment on cores? We do. We do. I will risk it. 0-0. That's about what I could have hoped for. Fully de-entrenching the Albanian core for right now. Both of us going to start entrenching again. I'm just out in the middle of a clear, not desert, but clear area. So that is what it is. But I imagine he'll just reinforce, right? That's what I imagine. Not that we're making any good progress at the moment, but for now, pre-Rommel, the situation looks not terrible. If we're being real, the British, even French, bombers are not going to be doing anything during this. They just cannot compete with the German air power. They cannot. So getting them out of harm's way is probably a good idea. Moving them to the rear. So I'm going to do exactly just that, since the enemies have proven they're willing to paratroop behind us in such brazen things. Hey, we killed an enemy unit. That's nice. They'll have to rebuy that now. This line is already looking like it's going to fall apart. I mean, they could easily kill one if they wanted to. No, maybe not both. Maybe with the way they're fighting. They could kill potentially both of these units in one turn if they really wanted to, which puts the French HQs in a sticky situation. Don't know if I want to abandon this fortification to go reinforce here where the enemies are making breakthroughs, or leave them here with the idea that the enemies might continue to push here. That is hard to say, but it is becoming increasingly likely that we're going to want to leave these HQs further back, like right now, honestly, like literally right now, because we're not getting many chances to retreat with the way things are going. For now, I think I'll risk leaving him there, because I don't think they're gonna, you know, kill both of these and then get back here and kill the HQ. That's not doable in one turn. So I think he's safe enough for that. All these other Frenchies are going to stay exactly where they are. I don't really know what to do with this corps. I imagine this one's going to die, so I want to leave him in Nancy, just so there's not this complete outflanking of the Maginot. We kind of have to leave this intact, ideally, right? So, you know, BEF is just going to chill out where they are. If they get sniped, they get sniped. It is what it is. We can rebuild them. At the very least, they're not getting trapped, for what that's worth, I guess. We do need to reinforce this Canadian destroyer. That would be pretty nice. And come down this way, finding the enemy. Oh, that's a new one. Head up this way as well. All right, so this is a brand new German destroyer. The other one has gone who knows where. Found him again. Go ahead and just give him a piece of our mind, dealing some damage, taking no damage. That is exactly the kind of thing we want to be seeing. As for what I have set up here in the Mediterranean, now I will say there's one weak link to this, and that is the ports that we are sitting on. The ports are actually, we don't want to be on the ports. We do not. The reason being is the human torpedo event. They have a chance to deal some big damage to something in a port. It's a small chance, but it's a chance that I got against Travis in my PvP in World at War. It's a chance that could happen here. So ideally, I'd want to move these. Probably just move them east and west. So, for example, right about there and right about here. And then we don't really need as much protection here, I guess. So let's move, I suppose, right? Move you out here. Move light cruiser. I'm just trying to get him to run into me somewhere. You know? Just somewhere. I don't really care where. I don't care against what. I don't care what it is. I just want him to encounter me. If you have to move Rommel in this game like you do in the other one, then it's perfect. If he goes to Tripoli, anyway. If he goes to Tobruk, then it's not perfect. If they just spawn down here, then it is what it is. But naval engagement or encountering Rommel one way or another would be good. And then the Frenchies just, you know, they're just here. I wish I could just like cash these in and turn them into land units. Get the Navy guys, give them guns, get them on land. That's where we need them right now. America can queue something up. I'll have them queue up some ASW 150 MPPs. That's all they can queue up for research, but looks like artillery will be done next turn. That's a one-off. Fighters, amphibious warfare, a lot of these might be done very soon. But we'll get that going. That seems good. Let's also move this French bomber out of the way. We know this French bomber is not going to accomplish anything. We know that, right? Like, we've accepted that. We understand that. I understand that from World at War, using these guys is kind of a waste. It's kind of a waste. It's a shame to lose some BEF. That feels weird, having not really lost any BEF, I think, in World at War in this situation. But rebuilding them wouldn't be super difficult. And I don't think the AI knows how to do Operation Sea Lion, at least not early on in the game. It's probably just scripted to go for Russia instead, and in this playthrough, it probably should, given their circumstances. Now, we have 247 MPPs to work with as the Soviets. We still need to be thinking really, really defensively. Definitely defensively, and the most versatile thing that's remaining on the left here is going to be the advanced tanks. In the long run, it really is. Expensive though it may be, it really is. Production and Indie Tech are about to finish. That's nice. I could theoretically, you know, spend very little, thus saving up to push these through, but I don't know. They just might not go through. Who knows? Assuming I save basically the rest of the MPPs, we should be good for at least Indie Tech next turn. Nothing else really would finish except production. Production, important, but we're not building units at the moment. I'll go for the advanced tanks. We'll get that researching. It's a very long process anyway. 47 MPPs. Let's get the 13th Army where I want it, over onto this forest to serve a defensive role. I don't think they're going to go through the swamp to get around. If anything, they would just come face first against this and absolutely obliterate it, right? Since the Soviets are even, like, nerfed in this one. So, we're still building entrenchments otherwise. So that's a thing. In August of 40, we're going to get another army. August of 40. That's not too far away. I might move that one down to Kiev just so I can get this guy up to this defensive fortification. That sounds good to me. And then we have some zone of control in the forest here. They can move up in the forest, but they don't have anything pushing them to get an army on Kiev again, and then I'd feel a lot safer about this region. I would. Nothing else land-wise would be built that I'd really want moved up to these locations. That tank is probably better out. Those tanks. We're gonna get 2 tanks just for free in 41. Yeah, okay. I'll move you into the fortifications. I'll move you up to Zhytomyr. We have, like, endless capability right now to just build up. The limited income is kind of a bitch, but at least they're earning more than France and the UK. UK before convoys is what I mean. We know Leningrad's not at any risk, so I'm just going to start force marching that down. Moscow is not going to be defended by an anti-air, so I'm just going to start force marching that down. Probably should have started doing that earlier. The operational costs aren't really that bad regardless, but that was a pretty good turn, pretty crazy, and a pretty crazy episode, which we're out of time for. So I'm going to call this one here for now. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.